Thanks for joining us today to learn a little bit about Unistore and to hear Project Lead the Way's journey towards unified logging. I'm Philip Coletti. This is Britton Gray. I'm going to kick us off with a brief intro into Unistore, what we're doing, and some of the new developments in this area. And then I'll hand it over to Britton to go through the fun part, do some live demos, tell you about their journey, and take us home. Very briefly, setting some context here. For the longest time, there's been these persistent silos between your analytical data systems and your transactional data systems. And what we aim to do with Unistore on Snowflake is to unite your transactional and analytical data together in a single database, ultimately in order to simplify your life as a data user. The key feature that enables this in Snowflake is hybrid tables. This is just another table type in Snowflake DB. You create it like any other table type, but you add this hybrid keyword at the beginning of the table definition. And ultimately, what's different about hybrid tables is they have a completely different row storage engine that allows you to do high concurrency, high throughput DMLs with low latency, double-digit millisecond response times. They also add support for critical transactional features like unique constraints, and again, critically, row locking. That's what allows you to get that high concurrency DMLs on well-distributed point writes. But again, in order to allow you to really unite transactional and analytical data, we've deeply integrated hybrid tables into the Snowflake database engine. So you can join hybrid tables and standard tables. You can execute atomic transactions across hybrid tables and any other table type within Snowflake. Sounds cool. What can we do with that? There are hundreds of customers running production workloads on hybrid tables today across all sorts of industries, verticals, functions, use cases. Generally speaking, we see use cases kind of cohere into three broad buckets. The first is using hybrid tables as an operational store for metadata and state. Britton's going to tell you a little bit about one of those types of use cases for Project Lead the Way. Another common pattern is to use hybrid tables to directly serve point lookups out of Snowflake instead of reverse ETLing into a different operational database, which can introduce complexity, cost, lag, generally make your data architecture harder to manage. The last category is lightweight transactional applications. Many of you might want to build data-centric applications directly on top of Snowflake, and hybrid tables can be a key ingredient for you, serving as the operational store. Again, because it allows for high concurrency DMLs. We've been hard at work on hybrid tables. You may remember the announcements from previous summits, but we haven't been resting on our laurels. So I want to tell you a little bit about what we've been doing to improve this product area in the past 6 to 12 months. First, and I actually don't have a bullet about this embarrassingly, is hybrid tables are generally available. That happened last fall. For many of you that have been using it longer, hopefully we didn't make you wait too long, but we're really excited now to make the product generally available. It is very much a performance-centric feature, and we are continuing to double, triple, quadruple down in this area, especially in query processing, plan cache extensions. In some cases, we've seen customer queries reduce latency by more than 15 times based on some of the recent optimizations. We've also improved bulk loading. So we have an order of magnitude more efficient direct bulk load implementation that we rolled out last year, and we're continuing to expand that to cover more and more of your batch DML patterns. We've continued to increase the capacity limits. So now every Snowflake database gets a default quota of about 2 terabytes of storage in hybrid tables, and we can go higher if you need to, so reach out if you bump into that limit. We have rolled out support for some critical Snowflake reliability features, continuous backup and restore using time travel and clone database at. We've also rolled out an out-of-the-box monitoring experience with the grouped query history UI in Snowsight. So if you want to be monitoring some of your recurrent workloads, go check that out in Snowsight today. Lastly, I have 2 exciting announcements for you today. The first is for the security conscious among you. Hybrid tables now supports tri-secret secure and periodic rekeying. So if you need to bring your own key for encrypting data in Snowflake, you can now use hybrid tables as well. This is currently in private preview, and we're working to bring a public preview to you very shortly. And then last but certainly not least, we recently launched the private preview of hybrid tables on Azure. So if you are not an AWS shop and you are an Azure shop, you too can now use hybrid tables. This is also in private preview, coming to public preview soon. If you are an Azure shop and you'd like to get access, ask your account team. They'll get in touch with us, and we'll get you access. With that, I'm going to hand it over to Britton.
Good afternoon, everybody. I wanted to talk about our journey with Unistore and ETL logging, unifying logs across a bunch of ETL processes. So first of all, about Project Lead the Way. We are a nonprofit organization developing STEM education curriculum for pre-K through 12 students in computer science, engineering, and biomedical science. We have trained over 100,000 teachers in our lifetime on developing Project Lead the Way students. This year, we have over 1 million students across the US in our curriculum. And effectively, students learn to apply that classroom knowledge and skills to solve real-world problems. We are preparing kids for the jobs of the future. So we were an early adopter of Snowflake all the way back to 2018. So we have been in the platform now almost 7 years. About 70% of the organization uses Snowflake data either directly or indirectly in their job functions. We have got about 20 different sources we bring into our data lake and then go through a medallion architecture to get that to our end users. And one of the things that I did want to note is that we are a small team. So there are only 5 of us and only 1 data engineer, so much that I, as the director, still serve as the backup in that role. So anything that we do in the data engineering space needs to be pretty simple and transportable to any other member of our team, because we don't have just a large team who is up to date in everything. So in our old state, we've had 3 different ETL technologies, each creating their own just standard log files that became a little difficult to both coordinate and as well just to figure out, hey, what's going on in the whole scheme of things. So this is effectively the kind of thing that we'd see and have to go through if we wanted to know what was going on in our ingestion process. So back about a year and a half ago or so, we decided to move our ETL logs to Snowflake. Well, why? Well, first of all, it uses our existing connections. So nothing new, again, from a small team. We have to use what we've got in order to not add complexity to our environment. It places all those logs in a single location, so we can do analysis on it or debugging as the need goes. And also, it integrates with our data validation engine, which we are looking at going to data metric functions, which is another great function in Snowflake to help with that. Right now, it's actually running on a separate engine, but we are wanting to modify that to run that all in Snowflake as well. Well, once we did that, we have now gotten everything into analytical tables. There was one small problem. The latency of all of those log messages going to the analytical tables caused us to effectively run out of morning to do our ETL. We were not hitting our 8 a.m. SLA for all the data to be available, both ingestion and going through that medallion process. Well, right about that time, Unistore came to the rescue. If this had not happened, frankly, we might have had to actually scrap going to Snowflake because it was that much of a problem. Unistore came on. Literally what I'm showing in the highlighted boxes are the only changes we had to make to the DDL of those additional tables. So it was a very, very easy process to just move. And we did some benchmarking very recently to try to quantify exactly how much time we're saving here. So we ran a benchmark effectively within the same cloud region, hitting both tables in a 5-thread, multi-threaded environment. Again, so we were seeing that each message to the log was taking over half a second. Now with hybrid tables, it's 1/20th of a second. So, a couple demos showing what we have been able to do with that data. So first of all, I want to walk you through an actual real-world situation that we went through here a couple weeks ago. We woke up to this Slack message from our data validation engine, basically saying that all the scheduled ETL processes failed once. So we have an ETL process that we need to investigate. So here, I'm looking into that Slack error alert. So we've got a data validation results table. Going to execute that. This is where we see it's in our bronze environment. We get medallion. We expected no errors. We got 1. So let's look at for the failed process. Which one was it? So it's our IT load, so our IT tracking system. Notice there's no end time. So again, that's one of those things where it didn't put out an error, it just failed to run. So looking through, we've got another Unistore table that goes in our table log. Looking here, and projects were good. Issues and issue change logs both failed to end. Now in this process, they're stacked. So effectively, they're running at the same time. Issues then informs issue change logs. So now this is our message log. This is the one that actually takes used to take a long time to write to, because if you notice, just from this, got all the way down. We have got 174 messages, but 0 new records inserted. What did it look like the previous day? We figured out through that would effectively, just to go, we had a zombie process. Pretty standard stuff. So mundane, the solution on our end was to just stop and restart it. Worked fine. But again, without this unified logging, we probably would not have known we had a zombie process, because again, it didn't actually call for help at any point. It just kept trying to go. Another thing that we can do, and that helps me, we can look at the data from the hybrid tables. So in fact, it's effectively this that shows when processes generally run. But with Snowflake's account usage views, we can also look at that seamlessly against warehouse load, against all the tasks that run against data, making sure that we are making the best use of this because it costs money. We want to make sure to reduce our ETL costs, as well as making sure that everything here is ready. It's a 12 UTC, so we're in Eastern time, so that's our 8 a.m. SLA. Looks like we have been meeting that. Well, what has this actually done for us in terms of numbers? So right now, we're inserting about 33,000 log inserts a day. And again, when you look at that 600 millisecond versus 50 millisecond latency, that really adds up. Actually, if it were to just run sequentially, that's the better part of a day. Right now, we're saving around 2 hours, though, because everything's running in parallel versus having to do the analytical tables. And most importantly, we're at over 10% cost savings by using that data to analyze things against our Snowflake account usage views. All of that for a hybrid table cost that runs around 10 cents a day. So big cost savings, tiny cost for the hybrid tables on our end. Thank you very much